OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to OutcatsedOC this week for NXT. Some breaking news that I want to talk about. We find it out in the show, but I kind of want to talk about it now, just because it isn't really part of the show. It's more of something that's not really part of the storyline. It's quite sad, to be honest with you. It's unfortunate for one of the people who was supposed to be having a match, at a deadline. And it's Wes Lee. So he was supposed to be having a North American Championship match against Dom this Saturday. Unfortunately, that's not going to be happening. Apparently, he's been feeling some numbness in his legs, and it turns out he's going to have back surgery that's going to keep him out of action for 8 to 12 months. Now, this is tragic, man. Not just because we're going to be missing out on a great match on Saturday. It's more of the case of a guy who's so young, like his, so much potential. The guy who was so good in the ring, who, in my opinion, should be on the main roster by now. Yeah, it's just upsetting. I thought it was really upsetting, to be honest with you. He's it's difficult to talk about. It's difficult to talk about because, like I say, like someone with so much potential having back surgery at such a young age, it's dangerous and it's worrying, and I hope he's going to be okay. Thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. While we're talking about that, Dominic Mysterio comes out in character and says, my back's hurting as well, Wes, because I've been carrying the WWE for the past 2 years. Well, at least it looks like I'm going to be having a day off on Saturday because I won't have to defend my North American Championship. Wes goes, no. Don't take it from me, though. Take it from someone who's related to you. This is where Rey Mysterio comes on the screen and says Dom will be defending the North American Championship against Dragon Lee. I can't wait for that match. That's going to be a great match. These two have had amazing matches in the past, so I can't wait to see what's going to be happening at NXT Deadline. I believe this is going to be the third match between Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. Is Dragon Lee going to win the North American Championship here? I don't know, because obviously Dom's doing stuff with the Judgment Day. He's got the North American Championship there. They've got all the championships on lock, pretty much. And Dragon Lee is already up on the main roster. Well, it looks like he's already up on the main roster. So I'm not sure they'll be giving it to him to come back down to NXT to hold the North American Championship. But who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I just thought I'd open with that, guys, just to obviously, give you the news about Wes Lee. Thoughts and prayers again, like I say, go out to his friends, him and his family. He says all the WWE universe, give him the power that he needs, to carry on. Like, give him the heart, give him the determination. So, just send like a nice message to him, maybe just to say, get well soon, something like that. But let's go back to the opening of the show. We have a fatal 4-way last chance match for the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. That is between Roxanne Perez, Thea Hale, Fallon. Oh, yeah. I don't know why I was so confused when I saw Fallon Henley's name in there, because spoiler alert, she wins the match, so I don't know why I was so confused when I saw her name. Yeah, Roxanne Perez, Thea Hale, Fallon Henley, and Kiana James. The story about this match isn't really the fact that it's a last chance match. It's more of a fact of Roxanne Perez and Kiana James just cannot keep their hands off each other. They're just fighting backstage all night. They are fighting in this match. There's a bit here where they end up throwing each other through the announce table. So yeah, that's mostly what the match is about. Fallon Henley goes on to win this match with a huge kick for the 1-2-3. But the focus is more on outside the ring, where Kiana James and Roxanne Perez are on the barricade and they throw each other through a table. In the trainer's room later on in the night, Kiana James says the next time she sees Roxanne Perez, she's going to beat her down. Roxanne Perez overhears this and they start fighting again. We get a segment later on in the night where Ava Raine is coming out of Shawn Michaels' locker room or office. Apparently Thea Hale's working for Ava Raine's working for management now. Okay, cool. And she gives I believe it's Mackenzie, the information that Roxanne Perez and Kiana James are going to be fighting at NXT Deadline in a steel cage match. Do I think this feud warrants a steel cage match? No, not really, because I'm not incredibly invested in it, to be honest with you. I think it feels a little bit forced, but at least Kiana James is getting something to do, and Roxanne Perez is a good hand. I'm not the biggest fan of her in the world, but at least she's getting something to do. After this match, we go backstage to where Lyra Valkyria is giving her thoughts on, what she's just seen in the Last Chance Fatal 4-Way. She says that, Fallon Henley is a punch to ticket and she's heading to Deadline. She does not give, she doesn't give like her prediction, for the winner of the Iron Survivor Challenge, because she doesn't get the chance to, because she's interrupted by Lola Vice and Elektra Lopez. And Lola Vice says, I'll be heading to NXT Deadline too, and I'll be there. And, you never know, I might cash in this contract that I've got here for a women's championship. And Elektra Lopez, I nearly said Alexa Bliss then, turns around and says, you might get an early Christmas present, because she actually might even cash in the contract to have a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Something that I predicted on the podcast a few weeks ago, guys. If you want to go check that episode out, we made a couple of predictions about what was going to be happening. So, I would like that. I would like, basically what I said in this predictions, guys, is that Lola Vice and Elektra Lopez team up with Santos Escobar and they take over sort of the mid card of the SmackDown Women's Division. I thought that would be a nice idea. Something a little bit different. Two women teaming up with a man, where usually it's like the other way around, where it's like a female manager and two men. I thought it'd be different. Just my thought. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. We do get a quick first look at the NXT Men's Breakout Tournament that's going to be starting next week. It's just a little bit of a, I'm this guy and I'm great kind of segment. It doesn't really give information about who these people are. They give the names. Didn't bother to write them down because we didn't get any character information about them. I'll talk about it more next week, because, that's when we'll get more in-depth, beginnings of characters, I'm assuming, from these guys. So, there's plenty of time for that. We get a match here, Tatum Paxley versus Lola Vice. Now, a couple of minutes ago, I was talking about how Lola Vice interrupted Lyra Valkyria. Well, in that segment, Tatum Paxley says, Lola said, you're always ready and you're looking for a fight. Well, I'm also looking for a fight, so let's do this. To be fair to Tatum Paxley, I thought this was going to be a one-sided match. I thought Lola Vice was just pretty much going to, run rings around her. But Tatum Paxley gets a lot of offense in here. Unfortunately, she runs into that big, it's kind of a black mass kick from Lola Vice, and Lola Vice gets the 1, 2, 3. That's really all there is to talk about here, except for the fact that, like I said, it was more of a 50-50 match here, which was impressive. I think that Tatum Paxley is very impressive. And she's one of those people who is kind of bubbling underneath the women's division at the moment, and I think there's plenty of time for her to improve and get into maybe the mid card or even the main event of the NXT women's division in the next 12 months. So we'll see what happens. What else do we have next, guys? Oh, we get a weird segment here. It's just unnecessary. Baron Corbin is heading into the arena, and Mackenzie stops him and goes, are you worried about tonight? Are you worried about all the things that you've said about Ilya Dragunov? He's going to come back to bite you. And Dragunov, he's going to rip your head off, basically. And Baron says, no, not really. I don't really need to be afraid. I'm Baron Corbin. Nothing that I've said isn't true. So, I don't need no security. I don't need no nothing. Later tonight, you'll see what happens. So, by the way, the end segment, what he's talking about here, Ilya Dragunov and Baron Corbin. Wow, what a segment. Probably segment of the night. Really good. Very, very impressive. Speaking of something that's really impressive and probably match of the night, Alpha Academy versus the Metaphor. We got a 6-person tag team match here. We have got Otis, we have got Chad Gable and Maxime Dupri on the Alpha Academy versus Noam Dar, Aura Mensa, and Lash Legend. This match is really nice just because you get a bit of a combination of different styles that you don't usually see. I just thought it was nice. You got things like Chad Gable versus Aura Mensa, which is a match I'd be totally willing to see in a singles match, at some point in both of their careers. You get Otis and Aura Mensa, you get Otis and Noam Dar, you get Noam Dar and Chad Gable again, which I'm a big fan of seeing anytime I can. But the best part in this match is there's a bit here where Otis is just taking everyone out in the Metaphor. Aura Mensa's down, Noam Dar has been sent out the ring, and Lash Legend gets into the ring. Obviously, Otis has got a bit of a thing for Lash Legend, so he walks up to her, and Lash Legend picks Otis up and body slams him. I was like, what did I just see? I just saw a Rhea Ripley strength and magnitude slam from Lash Legend. Fair play to her. I thought this was really, really amazing, to be fair. But there's another segment here where Otis is on the outside of the ring fighting with members of the Metaphor. Lash Legend is on the apron, and Maxime Dupri hits her, she falls, but Otis catches her in his arms, kind of like the whole Mandy Rose thing that was going on a couple of years ago with Otis and Mandy Rose. Obviously, he puts her down. Maxine Dupree jumps off of the top rope to the outside, knocking everyone out, leaving Noam Dar and Chad Gable in the ring. Noam Dar goes for the Nova Roll. Chad Gable counters into the ankle lock, and this time the countdown does not save Noam Dar. There is no countdown. Taps out to the ankle lock. Alpha Academy beat the Metaphor in the match of the night. Like I said, in my opinion, I thought this was a really, really good match. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. This is one of those, I don't know why, but this is one of those matches that I just kind of want to go back and watch again. Like, it wasn't like, it was just a random match in NXT, just a random faction match, but I really enjoyed it. I don't know why. Like, you guys go and see it, you guys go and watch it, and let me know what you think of it in the comments. But I just thought it was a really good match, and just the fact that Lash Legend was able to body slam Otis is just really impressive. Like I said, we haven't seen anything that impressive since I believe it was Rhea Ripley who slammed Luke Gallows. That happened about 6 to 8 months ago. That was really impressive. Do you remember that segment on Raw? I think Luke Gallows was like fighting. I don't know. It's probably Dominic Mysterio or someone, or like was a tag team. I don't know. It doesn't matter anyway. You know what I'm talking about. We now go backstage to where Hank and Tank go into the Gallus Boys pub. This is a man's pub. You're not allowed in this pub. But Hank and Tank buy the beer, so they're allowed to stay. And they say, we want opportunities in this tag team division, and we want to face you. We want to face the Gallus Boys. We want to face the top of the division. And Gallus Boys go, no, there's plenty of other people who want to kick your ass. Like, why would we need or want to face you? And then Hank and Tank start saying some things that annoy Gallus, and then Gallus basically say, okay, we'll fight next week. That was easy. It was quite easy to convince Gallus to have a fight. So it looks like it's gonna be Mark Coffey and Wolfgang versus Hank and Tank next week. A match that I am not looking forward to. Like, it just does not sound interesting in the slightest. No offense to any of those people in that match, but that just does not sound interesting at all. Something that just wasn't interesting as well. We now go to the Iron Survivor Summit for the women, and Byron Saxton is hosting. And he said before this, all the women agreed to not interrupt each other, not to start a fight, to let, just have a nice flowing conversation with everybody. As long as someone doesn't mention you by name, you don't interrupt, and you just, let the conversation commence. Eventually, I'm not going to lie, one of my notes here just says, okay, FFS, because they're all just talking absolute nonsense here. We start off with Tiffany Stratton, who basically just says she's the best at everything, and she's already held the NXT Women's Championship, and she's the only one in this match to do it. Where's the lie? She's the only person who is talking sense here. Kalani Jordan says she is the most athletic, and her gymnastics background has prepared her for the Iron Survivor Challenge, and no one in this match can keep up with her. Tiffany Stratton says, I was also a gymnast. Did WWE forget about that, or was that just a line that was intentional? I don't know. But yeah, they're both gymnasts, so I don't know what Kalani Jordan's on about here. Lash Legend jumps in and says, I hang around with the Heritage Cup champion. I think I know a little bit about multiple falls. Skirt. I'm going to win this match because I am the best. We then get Blair Davenport, who says, I don't care about anybody in this match. I don't respect anybody. I don't like anybody. And none of you are going to do anything about it because all of you are afraid of me because you're afraid that you'll end up on the shelf like Nikita Lyons and Sol Ruka. I miss Sol Ruka. I totally forgot about her until Blair Davenport mentioned her. She was so good. So good. Can we get her back as soon as possible, please? Maybe then we'll, get some better segments and whatever the hell this was. Byron Saxton gets annoyed then and says, ladies, you said you weren't going to do this, ladies. This is, blah, 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 blah. For God's sake. And then Fallon Henley says, I'm going to kick everyone's ass because, I've just won this match and I've just got into this match and, it's going to be great. And then Tiffany Stratton says, you're rubbish. Like, why are you in this match? And I'm just sat there like, why am I watching this? And she's just won the match, and that's why she's in the match. Tiffany, what's happening right now? What's going on? Oh, there is one good line in here, and I can't even remember who said it. Tiffany Stratton says, she's the most athletic, and then one of them says, you didn't look so athletic when Becky Lynch took the title off you. And I was like, okay, that was, that was a pretty good line. Can't remember who said it, but it was a pretty good line. Can we please move on from whatever the hell this was? Because we've got a better segment next, and I've just seen what's up on my notes, and I just really want to talk about it. God damn it. Okay. So we now get a Chase U segment where he's talking a little bit more into detail about what's going on with Chase University. He says is hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And it's not really the amount of money that he spent. It's the people who he borrowed off, and it's the interest that's just grown and grown and grown. And now the university is in trouble. He also has some bad news. And the bad news is not Wade Barrett. The bad news is the investigation has made it very, very clear that since the investigation started, anyone who joined Chase University after that will no longer receive aid in terms of coming to the university. They will no longer receive financial support from the university. And that does include, as Thea Hale realized, it was JC Jane. JC Jane does not receive any help anymore going to the university. So the university turned around and go, what can we do to help Andre? And Andre admits it was his fault. Again, I don't think it's his fault. It's a gambling debt. Duke Hudson used to be a poker player. That was his whole gimmick. I think it's him or it's going to be JC Jane. It's got to be one of those two people. Speaking of JC Jane, she offers to do a car wash, to raise money. Duke Hudson says, apart from selling my trophy, because I don't want to sell my trophy, is there anything I can do? I think Robbie turns around and says, I think Andre Chase should go on a Gamblers Anonymous course, to learn what he's done is wrong. And I'm surprised Andre Chase doesn't batter him at that point. All this time, Thea Hale is kind of in a bit of a daydream. She doesn't, we notice that the camera's focused on the audio goes all echoey. Is that a sign of guilt, or is that a sign of oh no, my world's crumbling down? We will have to wait in the future about that. But what do you guys think about Chase U? Chase U are in serious trouble here. He's obviously borrowed money from the mob because we saw him talking with Tony D and Stacks a couple of weeks ago. They are collecting debts. He's over $100,000 worth in debt, which is bad, to be fair. He said he got this university into this mess and he's determined to get it out of the mess too. Oh, God. I don't want Chase University to break up, guys. I'm sorry. That's just me. I don't want it to break up. But, we got to let the story continue, okay? But that's all we've got from Chase University this week. We go to Trick Williams, who confronts Carmelo Hayes now and says, what the hell is going on? Because we've seen some footage from NXT Anonymous where Carmelo Hayes looks like he's working with Lexis King. It looks like he's, in cahoots with him. And it looks like maybe it was him who took Trick Williams out. And it doesn't look like he trusts him anymore because he wants answers now. And Melo says, let me just focus on this fatal four-way match first, and then I'll come back and I'll have all the answers in the world for you. And Trick Williams, says, I'm not coming out with you. Go and deal with your stuff, and then we're going to be talking after this match. We now come to the main event, guys, where we have a fatal four-way last chance Iron Survivor match. Well, for the Iron Survivor match between four people who did not qualify. That would be Tyler Bate, that would be Carmelo Hayes, that would be Eddie Thorpe, and that would be Joe Coffey. I don't know why, but I was rooting for Joe Coffey to win this match. I actually honestly don't know why. I could not tell you in the slightest why I wanted Joe Coffey to win this match, but something just made me want him to win. Maybe because there's a load of new people in here that I've never really had any opportunities in this year's Iron Survivor matches, and Joe Coffey's one of those people. So, maybe that's why I wanted him to win. Who knows? Who knows how the mind works, right? But it wasn't Joe Coffey who won this match. It was Mr. Tyler Bate. Joe Coffey kind of gets taken out of this match for a little while with Eddie Thorpe also, because obviously Eddie Thorpe has the bad ribs. He's trying to work through that. He's doing kind of like a Braun Strowman thing where he's going around the ring. He does the Seth Rollins dives. He takes out Joe Coffey. He takes out Tyler Bate. He does a drive-by on Carmelo Hayes, and he runs to get Joe Coffey again, where Coffey hits him with a spine buster on the stairs, and that takes him out of the match for the rest of the night. Joe Coffey gets in the ring and dives off the top rope to break up whatever's going on between Bate and Melo. However, it ends here where Melo is kind of taken out of the equation, and Tyler Bate hits the Tyler Driving 97 on Joe Coffey for the victory. He gets on the microphone here and says, it's about time. I know how dangerous the Iron Survivor Challenge is. I know what I'm getting myself into, but this Saturday, I am going to go all the way. Do you think it's going to be Tyler Bate? I wouldn't mind if it was Tyler Bate who won the Iron Survivor Challenge. That'd be interesting. Because we have another situation here where like people are talking. There's rumors going around that maybe Ilya Dragunov is bound for the main roster soon. So you never know. You never know. Is he going to maybe get a title opportunity in the next couple of months? Whoever that is, I wouldn't mind it to be Tyler Bate because he would make a great NXT champion. But before he can finish his thoughts, Dijak comes out and says he is delusional. He's almost delusional as this guy. And he points to Eddie Thorpe and he goes, Speaking of that, and he just kicks Eddie Thorpe right in the ribs and he says, get this piece of trash out of here. Obviously, Eddie Thorpe is being helped out by the medical staff and Dijak's just being an absolute douchebag. Braun Breaker then interrupts Dijak and says, you guys are talking all this nonsense. You guys better hope and pray that I'm the last guy in that Iron Survivor match, because if not, you guys better hope that you're in the penalty box. And if you're not, I'm going to put you in there, and I suggest that you stay in that penalty box. I mean, I am so excited for the men's Iron Survivor Challenge. Like, there's so many interesting people in this match. Josh Briggs then comes out and says everyone is underestimating Josh Briggs. Everyone is overlooking him, and he is going to shock the world this Saturday at Deadline, to which everyone, pretty much, to be fair, laughs at him because, is that really going to happen? Probably not. But it's, like I say, it's interesting to have a new guy like Josh Briggs in this match. Obviously, the crowd are going absolutely mental here because there's only one more person to come out and interrupt, and that is Trick Willie, baby. Whoop that trick, he says. He's not in the mood. All he's come out to say is he's going to whoop that trick, that trick, that trick, and that trick. Dijak goes, the only trick you should be whooping is your best friend Carmelo Hayes, and that starts a massive fight, and then they all start fighting. Again, like kind of like the women. I forgot to mention, by the way, like in the middle of one of the women's matches before, the women were all fighting, and Nikita Lyons came back, but nothing really happened. I forgot to mention it, but maybe I just shouldn't have mentioned it because nothing really happened apart from the return of Nikita Lyons, because I thought it would have made a bigger deal out of it. But yep, they all start fighting, etc. We now go backstage to where Mello has kind of, made his way backstage, and he's talking to Ava Rain, and he's talking about Lexis King, and he wants to deal with Lexis King. He asks Ava to go speak to Shawn Michaels and handle it, and she says, I got you. I'll do that. Trick Williams comes up from behind him and says, enough running, Mello. I want answers. What's going on? Was it you? Are you working with Lexis King? Are you the one who attacked me? And Mello says, no. And I'll prove it to you, because at Deadline, I've asked Ava and she's going to, sort it out and organize it. This Saturday at Deadline, it's going to be me versus Lexis King, just to prove that I am not working with Lexis King. And Trick Williams says, you better handle your business. I don't need to say it over and over again, but I think this is going to end eventually at Stand and Deliver versus these two at WrestleMania weekend. It would be the perfect, and I'll say again, perfect ending to this story. Two friends, now bitter rivals. How many times am I going to say that? Probably every single week until it happens, to be honest with you. We now go to the main segment now, the ending, where it's the face-to-face between Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov, where both of them are basically just talking to each other face-to-face instead of saying what they were saying on the microphone or on the Titantron over the past couple of weeks. Baron Corbin basically says, you abandoned your son to come here. You did it on purpose, basically. He's trying to say, like, you did what your father did to you all them years ago. And like, it's not something that you hide. It's not something that you, are ashamed of. You actually enjoyed leaving your family. And Ilya Dragunov is getting very, very annoyed. And he calls Baron Corbin a materialistic son of a bitch. And Baron Corbin says, no, you think this is about materials? You think this is about the cars, the houses, the expensive watches? You think I just want to add that NXT championship to my riches? No, this is about vindication, because I've never won the NXT championship. I have been a fixture on WWE TV for the past 8+ years. And this Saturday, I'm going to vindicate myself and come for the NXT championship and fulfill my destiny. But then he starts talking about Ilya Dragunov's family again. Ilya Dragunov is getting very, very annoyed, and he says, if he doesn't hold this in until Deadline, there will not be an NXT championship match, because he will destroy Baron Corbin right here, right now. Baron Corbin once again tries to antagonize Ilya Dragunov, and he even gets the table out and he puts it against the ropes, and he goes, I'll make it easy for you, Ilya. And then he turns his back and he walks up to the table and he says, You've let down your son, you've let down your family, you've let down everybody. Like, I'm going to take away the only thing that is keeping you in the USA, and that is the NXT Championship. Ilya Dragunov gets very, very annoyed about this, and he walks up to Baron Corbin and he grabs him and he hugs him kind of like in a boxing hug and goes, the only person who can destroy the dragon is the dragon himself. And that's the last thing that we hear from Ilya Dragunov and Baron Corbin, because after this, all of the men's Iron Survivor people are still brawling. They're all coming out. And then Trick Williams once again joins the brawl. They all get in the ring. And then Baron Corbin spears, I can't remember, through a table. I think it's Dijak. Who knows? But it's going to be absolute mayhem. And Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov are still stood in the ring, staring each other down. This is going to be an amazing deadline this week, guys. The go-home show for NXT was pretty decent this week. We had 2 great Fatal 4-Way matches. We had that amazing 6-man Alpha Academy versus Metaphor match. You know, we had some great segments like the Chase U segment. The one that let me down was like, you know, the Iron Survivor Women's Summit. I thought it was okay. It was all right. I thought it was a bit rubbish. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it wasn't the worst thing that I've ever seen on NXT TV or WWE TV, even in the past week, to be honest with you. But I thought it was boring. Like I say, I eventually stopped writing notes about it because I thought it was just rubbish. We saw the return of Nikita Lyons. That didn't really do anything for me because, like I said, I thought she would have made it like a bigger deal. But it is what it is. Like, I thought that was like a bad decision. We've learned that Ava Raine is working for management for some reason, and the plot thickens with Chase U, and the plot thickens also with Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and Lexis King. Hopefully, we'll get some more answers about that heading into Saturday for Deadline. But guys, what did you think of NXT? And are you excited for NXT Deadline this Saturday? Are you going to be watching it? Let me know in the comments. I certainly will be. I'll be posting a review about it probably on the channel as well. And I'll be making plenty of TikTok videos about it as well. Don't you worry about that. If you like this video, guys, make sure to leave that thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. We had a Raw review come out yesterday from Courtney. We've got a podcast coming up tomorrow, early Royal Rumble predictions. That's going to be amazing. And we have got a SmackDown review coming Saturday morning from either G or Ross. And then obviously this Saturday night is the Iron Survivor NXT Deadline, so make sure you check that out. Go follow OutcatsedOC on, obviously we're here on YouTube, but we're also on X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, guys. Go follow us there if you're interested in all of our content. If you want to, you know, follow us and get to know us a little bit more, follow our personal accounts, as in me, Ross G, and Courtney's. But for now, guys, I hope you have an amazing Thursday. Peace out.